My name is Ben Lmadani. I'm the founder and CEO of ABL Aviation. ABL Aviation is an independent global leasing company. We lease aircraft to airlines worldwide. Fleets now of a little bit more than 50 aircraft, close to about 5 billion assets under management. The fleet is constituted of Airbus and Boeing aircraft, so we have 787s, 777s, A350s, A220s, A320s, A321, both classic and neos. We have, of course, lessees going from Delta Airlines, Lufthansa, KLM, El Al, Air France, American Airlines, etc. That we lease aircraft for a long-term period. We take care of the maintenance, the technical parts, of course, as well, of those aircraft. That's our job. And we manage the residual value, of course, of those aircraft for our different investors. ABL is as well about close to 50 people worldwide, 5 offices worldwide, Casablanca office where we are here today, the Dublin office, which is our headquarters. We have the New York office that's managed mainly investors. We have the Hong Kong office, which is covering Asia, and the Tokyo office that is managed, that was opened about 12 months ago, that's managed our Japanese clients and investors. So I founded, after my college in the US, I founded a company that is doing airport equipment. So by airport equipment, it's everything that you see around an aircraft. So lavatory carts, belt loaders, pushback, de-icers, tow bars. And that was my first business. I was very young back then. And I used to buy that equipment and lease it. At the beginning, of course, I used to buy it and sell it, plus a profit. And then we started to buy it and lease it. And little by little, we moved from the airport equipment to aircraft leasing when we started with the old 737-300s, and little by little, we moved to newer assets. We used to do midlife a lot, and then we moved to newer assets like 787, A350s, A220s, A321, A320s, and 737s. So that was the whole background about it. And quickly, we developed the business worldwide. We moved the headquarters from New York to Dublin in 2016. We opened the Casablanca office in 2017. I really wanted, as a Moroccan, to have a Casablanca team with a technical team here in Casablanca. We have, I think, in this office about 5 nationalities other than Moroccans. That's all moving to the Casablanca office, which is extremely, I think, exciting to have different nationalities in this company. I think we're close, if I'm not mistaken, to 10 or 12 nationalities in our company, about 50-50 men and women. And I'm extremely proud to have that mix of cultures in our company. I hate to say it, but I'm extremely hard on myself and on my team, because I expect perfection. I expect the best out of us, because it's aviation. Like, we're in a very, very precise industry. We have very, very large competitors. So we have to be the best at what we do, and the mistakes are not allowed. And my team is here, I'm sure they will fully agree with that. Because it's extremely important about whatever you do in life, you have to do it like if it's perfect, or if not, don't do it at all. And that's my vision about business, about life, about everything about life. It's if you are going to do something, do it perfectly, or don't do it. Or at least give it the best side to do it perfectly and learn. Like, lots of the people came from other industries, lots of people had nothing to do with finance or aviation, and became some of the best elements we have. My view, and lots of the management team, is we refuse to have average capacities. We want the best that we can, and we try to give the best capabilities to our team to be some of the best. Might be here in the Casablanca office, in Asian offices, in the New York office or Dublin offices. Everybody have that vision of we need to perfect the work we do, and I think a lot of the airlines and a lot of the investors see how detail-oriented we are when we do a transaction, and that's extremely important. That's the first thing. The second thing that is extremely important for me is a mix of culture, and having different cultures of people. Moroccan people, American people, Irish people, people from Philippines, people from China, working all together is extremely hard because of the difference of cultures. And that's why we need to put one thing in common, is the ABL culture, the ABL family culture. And that's we work very hard on that, because everybody can get hurt about some misunderstanding when you have so many cultures working all together. But we were able to find the best engineers that understood the culture we have, where it only has to be the best. We don't do average. We do, because it's aviation. You cannot do, like, when you're flying an aircraft, it's either you're having people that are from the best the values, the best ethic of work, and that's what allowed us to be very competitive in this market. That difference of culture defined ABL. The definition of ABL is a global company. That's why we have so many nationalities. It's extremely important for us to have different nationalities and background of people working all together. What I meant by working very hard and work ethic, it allows us to be very efficient. We have to have the highest ethic of work and highest ethic of details. And you can see it from everything. It starts from data entry all the way to technical records, all the way to websites, which is extremely hard, like social, that it has to be perfect. And that's something that I'm really expecting from all our teams. And the third part that is extremely important for our company that's allowed us to become bigger very quickly is innovation. We focus on innovating on most of our deals. We always push as hard as we can to make sure that that deal is unique and different from what our competitors are doing in the market. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, but we like that part of being a young, innovative company. And I think with a small company like ours to go as fast as we went in the last few years, it was extremely important to have that innovation component. Few things changed the company. We used to do midlife, and we changed for midlife. And by midlife, I mean like all the aircrafts, and we changed to new assets. COVID was a very hard test for how strong the company is, because we have to remember that during COVID, the whole fleet worldwide in March of 2020, the whole fleet worldwide was on the ground, and nobody was able to fly anywhere in the world. So I remember in March, I was coming back from Dubai to Dublin, and I was extremely stressed out about what will be the impact of having no aircraft flying in the world for a company like ours. As a founder and CEO, I can tell you that that month of March 2020 was extremely hard for me, because can we keep the people? Can we keep the families that we are taking care of? Can we keep the salaries? What will happen? And when you are a CEO and you have a situation like this, which I think was the hardest situation I had in my life, was what will happen to us? All the aircrafts on the ground, we have a team of about 40 families that we need to take care of. How are we going to keep paying wages? How are we going to keep the company going? And what will happen if no one flies anywhere else in the world? So that was a very stressful time for us. And lucky enough, we didn't lose anyone. We didn't fire anyone. We were able to keep the people coming. And what we did, which was amazing, we were able to enter into new airlines such as Delta, Lufthansa, and other airlines like this that needed people that were able to be nimble and fast. And since we're a smaller company that is nimble and fast, it gave us opportunities. So COVID became the best thing that's happened to us, because we were able to do the best deals during COVID. And support, of course, the airlines that are our clients by being close to them. We found solutions with lots of those airlines like Wizz Air, El Al, and others, but we were extremely close to those airlines. And they teach us that the relationship is everything in our business. That's the first thing. Like, a relationship is extremely important, to have good relationship with everybody, from airlines to banks, etc., especially during COVID. And thank God we had very, very good relationships. And the second thing was value of your word. As we say in Arabic, but it's whatever we give our word to someone, keep it. And it's COVID, it's extremely hard to keep your word during COVID, but the people that we kept our word with during COVID are still partners until today. And that's why COVID, I think, was something that showed to the older kind of aircraft leasing companies that we will deliver, and we will deliver on our word. And that was extremely important, because that changed the company. Before COVID, most people will say, oh, well, it's a young company. They never had a bad crisis. They're just lucky. COVID, there was no luck. COVID was, it's either you deliver or you're out of business. And we see it with lots of our competitors who went out of business. But we had a strong team, we had a detailed team, we had a team that had an extremely good work ethic during COVID. And thank God, because of COVID, we became a stronger company, and we became a much faster company. And I'm extremely proud of that. The milestones, of course, one another milestone, speaking about COVID, which was extremely important for us, we had the first e-delivery was done to a Turkish airline called Pegasus on A321. So when everything was closed, you have to remember, today the market is open, everything is open. But you have to remember in 2020, when everything was closed, and we had to deliver aircraft to our clients that we promised to deliver an aircraft. So we had to find a solution how to deliver, and the client was Pegasus. First month of the pandemic, nobody knows what will happen. So we had two options. It's either we say, okay, we cannot do anything, and we back off from our word with the airline and say we cannot deliver the aircraft, or we find a solution. So the solution was to do an e-delivery that we did with Airbus, and that was the first e-delivery that was ever done in the market. And we delivered the A321neo to Pegasus. And that's for us why it was extremely important, is because we gave a commitment to Pegasus to deliver an aircraft. So COVID, no COVID, we made a commitment with our investors. We have to make sure that we do our best to find a solution even if it was COVID. And that was a good important milestone for us was that e-delivery that we had with Pegasus, which Pegasus knew by then, I hope, that we can deliver even if we had a very hard time. Of course, entering into the tier 1 airlines, I'm very proud that we were during COVID able to work with Lufthansa, work with KLM, work with Air France, work with Delta, work with American, because those ones are the crème de la crème of airlines. And for us, during COVID, we were able to prove to these airlines that we can keep our word and that we can deliver for them. And by working 24/7, the whole team make sure that we always deliver for our airlines and for our investors. And I think with the time, for the last 5 years, these airlines know that if you are working with ABL, they're going to deliver on their word. We'll do whatever we can to deliver on our word, both to the investors and to the airlines, of course. That's our clients. First of all, you have to remember, aviation is an amazing industry. Aviation, the fleet worldwide today is close to 25,000 aircraft worldwide. You have to remember that half of those aircraft are leased by a company like mine. So 50% is leased, the other 50% is owned by the airlines. The future, I believe, is going to be more and more aircraft going to be leased because airlines will not want to take the risk value of the future value. So our job is going to be more and more in demand by airlines. That's the first point. The second point is the fleet worldwide is going to double in the next 20 years. So can you imagine that you have 25, we're going to, I hope, come close to 50,000 aircraft in the next 20 years. So there is a big demand. That's for aircraft leasing. That's the first part. So I think we will always be busy. We'll have lots of business to do because of the demand by the airlines to lease aircraft. And there's not enough supply from both Boeing and Airbus as of today. So there will always be a big need in the next 10 to 20 years of aircraft being leased. That's the first point. The second point is you have to look at aircraft or aviation not only by the aircraft. You have to look at everything that is around it. You have to look at the components. You have to look at the support. You have to look at the software. So for us, we have to look at everything that is around the aircraft, not only the aircraft by itself. So what we should focus on is all those components that are around this, all those services that are around this. What we're working on today, first of all, in aircraft leasing, is to cover the whole spectrum. We cover the new aircraft, so 0 to 7 years, the midlife aircraft, 7 to about 15 years, which we have to be good on technical to manage, but also would like to add the end of the life, which is more the dismantling and the end of the life of the aircraft, which is 15 to above that. So covering that whole spectrum gives us a competitive advantage. If you only do one part, in my view, if you only do one part, you are not going to cover the whole spectrum. I think if you are going to do aircraft leasing, you need to cover from 0 to 7, the new assets, 7 to 15, the midlife with the very strong technical team, and then do all the way to the end with parking and dismantling. Of course, further you go down the chain, the less profit you have, but it's still important to offer that whole chain to the investors. So that should be extremely important. You are going to have in the next few years as well, a big shortage of talents in aviation. So training the talents and giving them the opportunity to learn more about aviation is extremely important. You are not going to have enough aircraft engineers that are very well qualified. You're not going to have enough pilots. You're not going to, but you need to make sure that you give the best to those people that you have, but also to think globally. Wherever there are availability of engineers and pilots, to go and get them and shape them into the culture of ABL. I think that's the future in the next 20 years for ABL, and that's what we're targeting on. Aviation is a passion. Right? Aviation is something that is amazing. You have to be passionate about it. It's something that is extremely hard. It's not easy. It's very technical, but it's an amazing business. And like any industry, I believe, and I push entrepreneurship a lot, you have to, first of all, to love what you are doing, to perfect what you are doing, to do it very, very well, and to spend as much time as you can learning to be the best at what you are doing. Whatever it is marketing, aviation, it is art, whatever it is, you have to be the best at what you are doing. You have to work 24/7 to make sure that you are going to, and that's my advice to young entrepreneurs, is forget about doing something just to make a profit. Go do something that you're passionate about, become the best about it, and then the profit will come. Never do something just because it's going to make money. If not, any business, if you're very good at it, will make money for you. Advice for young people that want to get into aviation, learn about it, be passionate about it. Be very detail-oriented. Like any businesses, detail is everything. Detail, it can be a guy doing finance in aviation on a pricing file. It can be a guy who is in the debt on the margins that he's going to do, etc. It can be someone doing data entry, entering the data. It can be someone doing the technical on the records. It can be the marketing on a little mistake on the website. It has to be very detail-oriented. And if you are detail-oriented, in any industry you are going to be very successful. Detail-oriented, hard work, and very straightforward, keep your word to whatever you said that you are going to do. And if you can do those three, whatever is the industry, not only aviation. If you're passionate about aviation, you should do it. But it's a hard business, but it's an amazing business. But you have to have the hard work, the detail, be very, very detail-oriented, and you have to be passionate about it.